we're going to assemble the owl pop-up card, but I'm also going to show you how to put together the squirrel, because I put this together and I guess I forgot to turn my camera on. So the other pieces, the leaves and the way that it goes together in the box, are the same. The owl and the squirrel assemble in the box the same way. So this is the finished squirrel, the one that I thought I was doing a video for. And but first I'm going to prep my base for the owl. You're going to fold this part down and then fold this up. Fold that. So fold your score lines all the same way to make it look like this. Okay, and then we're going to glue this down. So there's a little 1/4 inch space that we created with the way that we folded it here, and we're gluing that to the inside of our base. And now we're going to set that aside. And the other thing that I want to do is, so my centerpiece is always 2 pieces because it's so tall. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together, and I'm going to put it under my mat to dry while I do the rest of the assembly. This will help prevent curling, because paper always curls when it gets wet. Okay, so just like that. And I'm going to slide this under the mat while we work on all these other pieces. So let's bring in the squirrel. I'm just going to do just the body of the squirrel, because his base is the trunk with his body on it, okay? So these are the pieces we've got. And I am going to do a little bit of inking, and I'm going to do it off camera because as you can see, my ink pad is old, and so then it flakes. And I don't want to get those pieces all over my work surface. So I just take it and I just rub the edges. Okay. And when I use all one color, especially, I ink the edges to help define the pieces. And I do want to soften up this white a little bit, so I'm going to ink the edges around there. And I did the same thing on the tail. Okay. Oh, and don't forget his little body. There. All right, so let's start with the head. I feel like I need to check and make sure I'm recording this time. So that just fits right together. I am going to stand up and check. Okay. It goes just like that. And then this piece here is the top of his head. Okay. His tail. Those curves line up right to the outside. Okay. That goes just like that. Then you want to put his body and that lines up to this outside edge. I still got, I just threw one of my pieces across the floor. There we are. So his tummy here, you're going to line up to the top of this piece. Just like this, okay? And then the head goes on. So you can see there's nothing too complicated about him. I'm gonna mention for this video too that you don't want to, when you're doing these pop-up cards, you don't want to add dimension. Hang on, let me put this on and then I'll pull the card over and show you. You don't want to add any dimension in this 2-inch area because watch when I close it. See those 2 inches go down inside, and if you had a lot of foam tape in here, then your card would not close. So in this 2-inch section here of your card, don't use any foam tape. Save your dimension for the 2 inches and above. Okay, and so there is your squirrel, and then his feet. I think one of his feet are what I threw on the floor. His feet go off to the side. Put one there and one there, and then you put his hands here on the acorn, which is 2 pieces. And then I pop that up with a piece of foam tape. Okay, so that is the squirrel. Now let's do our owl. We've got several pieces here for him. I'm looking for a small orange beak. There it is. Okay. All right. So we'll start with our leaves. I hope that you can't hear my husband yelling. So you can see that's pretty simple. Okay, now do the same thing. Repeat for the other side. I always like getting the fast and easy sections done first. Okay. So that is our front and back insert. And now let's work on putting our owl together. So just like with the squirrel, we have a black piece that goes behind the eyes. And this fits right up on the top of his head. Now to apply his beak, I'm going to put the glue on here, just a smidgen. There we go. Now let's take a look here at the body. We'll put the torso on. And just like with the squirrel, we're going to put his tummy kind of up to the top, just like that. And then we're going to put his head on. I don't know why I chose a white owl for a fall card, but you can, there's so many different colors you can do owls. And now let's pull in our base that we have drying. And before we apply the owl, we're going to put on this piece here. And it's going to go right about there, right where these curves start on our stump. And this is the top of our stump. I wonder if I can get this off, because I would rather have that. I can't, that's stuck too well. I would have rather had him popped up with some foam tape, his head. But he still looks cute. So you can use foam tape and pop up his head if you want. And then his feet are just going to go down here at the bottom, obviously. State the obvious, Cindy. There we go. I'm only putting it on the top half because there's a couple layers of paper, so, and I don't want the foot to bend. So it just needs to stick there to the high part. And that's why I only put glue on that part. So then, and the squirrel is, the base is going to go together the exact same way, okay? So you first want to slide in a set of leaves in the back, and then your animal goes here in the center that's on the fold, and then you have a set of leaves for the front. And I always, no matter how many times I do these cards, this is how I put them together. I slide my pieces in, and then I take these out and lay them in the order, because I get distracted when I'm working. I have 5 kids and a husband and a cat, and so if I get distracted, I may not be paying attention to the order that I'm putting things in. So for the back and the very front piece, there's a slit in the bottom, and you slide it through and fold your tab up, and then you glue this into place on the bottom of the card. This is the bottom. Okay, and now and this is why I lay them down in this order, because on this side you start from the front and work to the back. If I had another layer on this side, I would be starting from the back and working to the front. So now we're going to flip this over. Fold that tab up and glue it in place. Okay. Flip it back over. Now we're going to insert our owl. And he is our center support. And I just like to line up my tabs. They're both the same width, so I just like to have them lined up together. There's a little bit of wiggle space in this. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. So now we're going to glue this tab just to the bottom here of the owl. Make sure it's only gluing to the center of the owl, okay? Because you don't want to glue your card shut. And then glue this top tab to your owl as well. And now you'll see when I push this up, if I let it dry long enough, I put a little bit too much glue on that. You don't want extra glue here because you don't want to glue your card together. Now when I push up, you see that because this is glued to my center, it's lifting this top piece. The next step is to fold this up and leave the top one down, and we're going to glue these tabs to themselves, top and bottom. So you just want to put glue just on the tabs with enough to hold it together, but not too much to ooze out, and glue our card shut. Okay. And then you want to check it, and you can see here that I've got my tabs glued together and everything, and when I push on it, the top and the bottom go up and down. This is the easiest point to check for this, because if you saw that your top wasn't rising, then you can stop, pull it apart real quick before it finishes drying and fix that. Okay, but it's all working, so we're going to close it up. And if you're wondering, yes, I have had to pull my card apart plenty of times when I've made them, because I find a mistake at that point. And there he is. There is our owl pop-up. Thank you for joining me.